All right, good Thursday morning. We should get going on our First Alert Weather live stream. This is First Alert Chief Meteorologist Steve Baylon in the First Alert Weather Center. It was cold this morning. Did you get any frost on your car's windshield? Or perhaps when you stepped outside this morning, was it cold enough where you could see your breath? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. All right, so let's see here. What do you say we show you how cold it was early this morning? We've got low temperatures. There we go. That fell back into the 20s to start off our Thursday. Got down to 23 degrees for a low in Green Bay. 30 was the low in Appleton, but you can see most spots were in the 20s. And there were some spots in the north that got down to the teens. Oconto got down to 19 degrees this morning with 18 apiece in Rhinelander and in Anago. Well, now here we are at, what time is it? 8:37. And our temperatures are rising through the 30s in most spots. It's 32 degrees at the freezing mark in Oshkosh, 36 in Sturgeon Bay and in Manitowoc. Green Bay is at 30 degrees. It feels like 30 because we don't have any wind chill factor. The air is calm. The flag is just kind of dangling there on the flagpole of the Brown County Courthouse. And yeah, there's some sun, but as we look to the west, you can see there's clouds coming in. Here's a topside view of our visible satellite. You can see those clouds pouring into the Fox Valley right now, heading towards the lakeshore, and they will begin to block out a whole bunch of that sun as the day wears on. So increasing clouds, partly sunny skies. It'll be overcast by the end of the afternoon. Yet, it is still going to be a mild early November day. We'll see a high of 52 degrees. Temperatures are normally in the upper 40s for highs. I think 48 is our average or normal high temperature for this time of year. So here's First Alert Pinpoint Predictor. And to no surprise, you can see the clouds pouring in over the next few hours. Partly sunny might be a positive way to spin it for 1 o'clock this afternoon. It'll be gray and gloomy 4 o'clock this afternoon. And then here's 7 o'clock tonight, overcast skies. And around that time, if not sooner, you'll notice that it starts to get a bit breezy across northeast Wisconsin as south winds gust up around 20, maybe even as high as 30 miles an hour. That wind is picking up ahead of a front. It's a quick-moving, weak front, which will bring us some showers later this evening. During Action 2 News at 10, I expect that we'll have some light rain across the area. Showers diminishing in the pre-dawn hours of early Friday morning. And then here we are, 7 o'clock Friday morning. We're back into some sunshine except for the far north. That sun is not going to stick around. Clouds will come back into northeast Wisconsin as a strong cold front moves across the area. And behind that boundary, there may be a couple spotty showers Friday afternoon into Friday evening. Most of those showers will be moving out heading into Friday night. That cold front coming through tomorrow, that's really our next big weather maker because it's going to usher in a much colder weekend. So much for the mild temperatures. We're going to see temperatures drop down this weekend, and it might be cold enough for some wet snowflakes here and there. So yes, a cold front is coming through, but there's also a change in the jet stream pattern. So, we talk about sometimes the polar vortex. Now, unfortunately, years ago, the national news media really sensationalized the polar vortex and made it a big thing. Oh, no, the polar vortex. I hate to break it to you, but the polar vortex happens every day over the Arctic Circle. It's just usually more pronounced during the colder months of the year. Well, when the polar vortex is strong, it stays tight to the Arctic Circle. When the polar vortex weakens, it tends to wobble out of place. And this is one of those times where it is going to weaken and wobble out of place down through North America into the Great Lakes. What does that mean for us? It means we get a blast of some chilly air. So we go from highs in the low to mid 50s to highs in the 30s for Saturday and Sunday and Monday. You can even see that lobe of the polar vortex snaking its way down towards the Great Lakes. You see, it's wobbling out of place, and that's because the polar vortex is weakening, and when it weakens, that allows that cold air to spill into the Great Lakes. I'm willing to bet there's a lot of you out there that thought the opposite. A strong polar vortex means, oh my goodness, bitter cold air. Actually, when we have a strong polar vortex, a lot of that Arctic air is held up to the north of us. It's actually the opposite. It's when it weakens, that's when we get the cold air. Not what the national media was portraying it when they made it a big buzz phrase years ago. All right, so we get cold air this weekend, and there's an area of low pressure that's going to track through the Corn Belt, and it will bring a mix of some rain and wet snow across southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois as we go into Saturday. Now, this is 7 o'clock Saturday evening. Look at the wet flakes trying to push their way into the Fox Valley. So, yeah, Saturday evening, there might be some light snow across portions of east central Wisconsin as we get kind of a glancing blow from that weather maker, which is passing mainly south of us. But as low pressure moves away, the wind flow behind it is going to be right out of the north as we go into Sunday. And as that wind blows off of Lake Superior, down Lake Michigan shoreline, we're probably going to find some lake flakes. Now, I'm not convinced that they're going to be as widespread as what Pinpoint Predictor is showing you here, but I do think that some folks are going to see some light snow showers. That's most likely across the North Woods into northern Door County. You know what? Predictor has about 0.2 of an inch of snow for Sturgeon Bay. I wouldn't be surprised if the wind is just right coming across the bay, that maybe northern Door County gets an inch or two of snow. That's possible. Northern Door County through the weekend. We'll see how that goes. You'll probably find some accumulating snow in north central Wisconsin, in the snow belts like Rhinelander North, like into like Eagle River and Tomahawk and up to the western UP. That's where you're probably going to find a few inches of snow. In the Fox Valley, depending on how this all comes together, somebody might get a little coating on grassy surfaces, but I suspect that's probably going to be about it. So for some folks, the first snow of the season, just depends on where you're watching us from. Doesn't look like a big event, but we're going to watch it because I'm sure you're kind of curious about that as we're getting a little early taste of winter this weekend. All right, there's your First Alert Super 7-day forecast. 52 today, 54 tomorrow. Again, a chance of showers tonight, maybe a shower Friday afternoon, breezy at times. And then tomorrow that cold front comes through and the temperatures begin dropping. So Friday night, bundle up at round 3 of high school playoff football action. Big game, Freedom at Winneconne. That's our Operation Football game of the week. There's a tiny chance of a shower towards daybreak. Otherwise, I think we'll see skies partly to mostly cloudy by the end of the game. Temperatures will be falling back into the low 40s. It's going to be a bit chilly, but at least that north wind is going to slow down just a little bit. There we are, Saturday, 39. A lot of clouds, wet flakes at night. And Sunday, 36, partly sunny, lake flakes, especially north and along the lakeshore with a blustery north wind. Now, there might be a couple leftover lake flakes in the North Woods on Monday, but otherwise, it's probably going to be dry Monday evening around Titletown. Of course, the Packers are home against the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, Eagles are going to be a tough game. Hopefully, the Packers can bounce back after the disappointment against Carolina. They're going to have to defend against the tush push. You've heard about that, right? You know, when it's like, second or third down, and they've only got inches until they get the first down, and they just basically just push the pile forward. And there's some complaints on whether that's like a legitimate football play. So anyway, chance of a tush push at Lambeau Field Monday night. It's going to be cold. Make sure your tush is warm. 31 at the 7:15 kickoff. Wind chills falling through the 20s. Dress warmly. At least northwest winds will be slowing down. We'll have some clouds. It's probably going to be dry. Pardon me. Tuesday, Veterans Day. Clouds, a little breezy, but not as cold. 42, and then rising into the upper 40s to near 50 on Wednesday. Wednesday, I don't know. I put a mix of sun and clouds in there, but I got to be honest, I'm not terribly confident. I do think it's going to be windy. That's what I'm thinking. So we're heading closer and closer and closer to winter. You know what? The forecast is going to vary. Some days it's going to be bright and sunny. Maybe we get a raging blizzard sometime this winter. Who knows, right? But regardless, whether it's quiet weather or snowy weather, we've got you covered with our free WBAY First Alert Weather app. If you scan the QR code on the left side of your screen, if you're able to, depending on how you're watching this, that'll allow you to download our free app, which is very handy during the winter time. Coming up on Action 2 News at noon and 4, meteorologist Emily Mers is going to take a look at the latest snow data. I'm sure she's a little interested. We have an in-office competition on when our first snowfall is and our first inch of snow is, and also a seasonal total. And Emily has our first snowfall. Well, she had it at November 1st. What day is today? The 6th? But the next best guess after that was Brad Spakowitz with November 17th. So she's got a little gap where she can win this competition for her first snowfall. And she says the first inch of snow will be on the 11th. Well, you know what? Maybe her guesses are going to be pretty close. We'll see. Anyway, Emily seems to know stuff about snow. So make sure you watch her today on Action 2 News at noon and at 4. All right. There you go. First Alert live stream wrapping up here. And hopefully you got a little preview of what the weekend is looking like. It is going to be a bit on the chilly side. So make sure you're ready for that and the family is ready for that as well. All right. Thanks for watching. Action 2 News Mid-Morning is going to be coming up in about 15 minutes. Aisha and I will be ready for that. And hopefully you join us. Otherwise, have a great day and enjoy those 50s while we still have them. Take care. Bye-bye.